Your brain isn't failing you, it's betraying you. Picture this. You're finally settled at your desk, ready to dive into that report or study session that's been looming for days. The document opens, your fingers hover over the keys, and then a soft ping. Your phone lights up with a notification. Just one glance, you tell yourself, but 5 minutes later, you're scrolling through comments, likes, and endless feeds. Deep work evaporates. This isn't weakness. It's your brain's ancient wiring clashing with modern digital life, craving the quick thrill of interruption over the slow grind of focus. That pull toward notifications isn't random. It's a deeply ingrained response rooted in how your brain processes rewards. Every time your device buzzes, it triggers a surge of dopamine, the neurotransmitter that signals pleasure and anticipation. Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good. It evolved to keep our ancestors alert to unpredictable changes in the environment, like the rustle of leaves signaling food or danger. In today's world, social media apps have hijacked this system. Notifications deliver variable rewards, much like a slot machine. Sometimes it's a like from a friend, other times nothing, creating an addictive loop that keeps you checking back. But why does this craving override your best intentions for deep work? Deep work demands sustained attention on complex tasks, engaging the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center responsible for planning, decision-making, and inhibiting distractions. Notifications, however, light up the limbic system, the emotional core that prioritizes immediate gratification. When a ping arrives, the limbic system hijacks control, flooding your brain with dopamine and sidelining the prefrontal cortex. It's not laziness. It's a neural tug-of-war where the short-term reward center wins, leaving you with fragmented attention and mounting mental fatigue. Consider the average day in a world built for distraction. You're a working adult juggling emails, Slack messages, and Instagram stories, or a student bombarded by group chat updates amid assignments. Each interruption doesn't just steal time, it imposes a cognitive switching cost. Studies show it takes about 23 minutes to fully re-engage with a task after a distraction. Your brain expends energy rebuilding the mental context, leading to overstimulation where attention feels scattered, like trying to hold water in your hands. Productivity plummets not because you're undisciplined, but because your environment is engineered to fragment your focus. This pattern traces back to the brain's default mode network, which activates during mind-wandering and low-effort activities. Notifications pull you into this network effortlessly, offering relief from the discomfort of deep concentration. Deep work, by contrast, suppresses it, requiring deliberate effort that feels effortful because it is. The brain conserves energy by preferring familiar, low-resistance paths. Over time, repeated interruptions train your neural pathways to expect constant novelty, making sustained focus feel unnatural, even painful. Now, layer in the role of context switching. Your brain builds mental models for tasks, rich, temporary structures of information. Notification shatters this model, forcing reconstruction. This isn't trivial. It's why you feel mentally fatigued after a day of busy work. Dopamine from the ping provides a false reset, a brief high that masks the depletion of your cognitive resources. The result? A cycle of shallow work that masquerades as productivity, while true deep work, innovative thinking, problem-solving remains elusive. Environmental factors amplify this betrayal. Tech companies design apps with behavioral psychology in mind. Infinite scrolling exploits the brain's novelty bias, where new information trumps completion. Push notifications mimic social cues our ancestors couldn't ignore, lighting up the same ventral striatum circuits as hunger or thirst. In the USA's always-on culture, where 80% of adults check phones within 5 minutes of waking, this creates chronic overstimulation. Your brain adapts by down-regulating dopamine receptors, requiring more intense stimuli to feel the same hit, trapping you in escalation. Burnout creeps in here too. Constant context switching elevates cortisol, the stress hormone, which impairs prefrontal function further. Attention becomes brittle. What starts as craving notifications ends in exhaustion. Procrastination on deep work isn't avoidance of effort. It's the brain protecting itself from overload, seeking the low-stakes dopamine of a quick reply instead. This behavioral loop reinforces itself. Each check reduces tolerance for boredom, widening the gap between intention and action. Shift your perspective. You're not addicted to your phone. Your brain is mismatched for this era. Evolution wired us for hunter-gatherer life, scanning horizons for threats and opportunities in sparse bursts. Deep work? That's a recent invention, demanding hours of prefrontal dominance without evolutionary precedent. Notifications fill that void, mimicking the variable rewards of foraging. Recognizing this reframes failure as adaptation gone awry. You're not broken. You're human in a hyper-novel world. This identity shift matters because it dissolves shame. When you label yourself distracted or lazy, it activates self-criticism loops in the anterior cingulate cortex, increasing stress and reducing motivation. Instead, view notifications as exogenous cues, external triggers exploiting innate wiring. This detachment allows observation without judgment, a key to breaking the cycle. Your brain craves them because it equates them with survival, not because you're flawed. Delve deeper into attention economy dynamics. Platforms algorithmically curate content for maximum engagement, prioritizing emotionally charged posts that spike dopamine. Your brain's salience network flags these as urgent, overriding ongoing tasks. Overstimulation follows. Too many salience signals flood the system, leading to decision fatigue where even simple choices overwhelm. Mental fatigue sets in as glucose levels in the prefrontal cortex deplete faster under divided attention. Procrastination ties in via temporal discounting. The brain undervalues future rewards, like finishing a project, favoring immediate ones. Notifications offer instant dopamine, while deep work promises delayed gains. This bias, hardwired for short lifespans, clashes with modern long-term goals. The result? A productivity paradox. You're capable of deep focus in theory, but the brain defaults to now. Environmental redesign becomes logical here, not willpower dependent. Willpower draws from finite glucose stores, depleting quickly. Instead, curate cues. Silence notifications during work blocks, leveraging the brain's sensitivity to context. Place your phone in another room. Out of sight reduces salience network activation. Your environment shapes habits via Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together wire together. Fewer interruptions strengthen prefrontal pathways for sustained attention. Build in dopamine baselines gradually. The brain habituates to highs, so introduce low-stakes deep work. 25-minute Pomodoros without tech. This retrains the basal ganglia, the habit center, associating focus with reward. Track streaks not for punishment, but to visualize neural rewiring. Over weeks, dopamine from completion rivals notification hits, as the nucleus accumbens learns new associations. Reframe urges as data. When a ping tempts, note the sensation, the anticipatory twinge in your chest. This mindfulness engages the insula, awareness hub, interrupting the automatic limbic response. It's not suppression, it's observation, weakening the urge over time via extinction learning. Your brain unlearns the link between notification and relief. Identity reinforces this. Adopt focus first as a descriptor, not busy. Language shapes neural identity via the brain's predictive coding, labeling primes pathways. Working adults see deadlines met. Students tackle theses without dread. This isn't hype. It's leveraging neuroplasticity, where repeated self-attribution strengthens relevant circuits. Address plateaus. The brain resists change via status quo bias, anchored in the orbitofrontal cortex. Expect resistance. Urges intensify initially as dopamine withdrawal hits. Persist. Adaptation takes 66 days on average for habit formation, per basal ganglia consolidation. Pair with recovery. Walks restore prefrontal glucose, countering fatigue. In digital life, boundaries matter. Use app limits not as crutches, but neural off-ramps. Schedule attention audits. Review usage to map patterns, revealing how notifications cluster during vulnerability windows like post-lunch dips. Awareness alone reduces automaticity, as metacognition bolsters executive control. Long-term, this fosters anti-fragility. Brains stressed adaptively grow denser prefrontal connections, per neuroimaging. What feels effortful becomes default. Overstimulation yields to resilience. Mental fatigue to clarity. Reflect on this. Your brain craves notifications because it's exquisitely tuned for a world that no longer exists, one of scarcity and peril. Deep work demands we override that tuning, not through force, but understanding. In grasping why the pull exists, the dopamine loops, the evolutionary echoes, the environmental exploits, you reclaim agency. Not as a productivity machine, but a mindful navigator of your own wiring. The notifications will call, but now you know their game. And in that knowing lies the quiet power to choose depth over drift,